Honestly, some of these Am I the A-hole threads sent in from women really need to be directing these questions at themselves. Is she being the a-hole to herself by accepting some of these behaviors or actions from these men? How long do you accept things without self-reflection on what you believe you deserve? So let's just get into this. Am I the a-hole for rolling my eyes at my boyfriend's proposal because it took 25 years of me begging? So she's 52, he's 53. Okay. Yesterday after dinner, my boyfriend of 30 years proposed to me. He just walked towards me holding a box and said, "Open it." It was a ring, and I had pictured this moment a million different times, but never thought I'd be so apathetic. My boyfriend then said he was retired now and wants to kick back and enjoy life with me and would love to do it all with me as his wife. A nice speech and all, but from the 5 year mark of our relationship onwards, I had been making clear my deep desire to marry and was consistently dismissed, given empty promises, gaslit. We had been through the gamut with therapy, and one counselor implied that me telling him we needed to go to therapy and getting off of his butt on the couch still means nothing if his mind is made up. I was in denial about the fact that he was just giving me the false illusion of progress to stall. My boyfriend and I have 4 kids. The oldest 3 are adults, while the youngest is 15, was sleeping over elsewhere when all this went down. All of our kids went to private school, filled with typical Southern soccer parents. I had to endure PTA moms' jabs about me not sharing a last name with my kids. Preteen years were hell because the other kids would taunt my kids by saying, "Your dad would rather sin and go to hell than marry your mom." My boyfriend's mom would tell him marriage would be selfish on my part. It's just a piece of paper. My boyfriend ended up rising in the ranks until he became an executive. I was a stay-at-home mom, so I felt like there was always a power imbalance, exasperated by the fact that I could be tossed at any time. I partly did stay because I wanted my kids to have the best life, and because I felt lucky and proud to be partnered with such an intelligent, successful man, but also because I loved him. These past few years, my boyfriend's career has taken a downturn. He will never be poor, but the company he took part of took a nosedive during 2020, and he made enemies out of associates and board members. He decided to take a step back from his role and take a generous severance agreed upon. Now he is living off his investments and wants to relax. I did not like how his career ended and how he treated people, and have been deciding whether I wanted to leave and find somebody else after our youngest turned 18. So the proposal was a shock because I should hope that he noticed I have avoided conversations about our future as of late. He rattles on about downsizing our house so we can travel, also cutting back on our other expenses, but we're not married, so it's all his money and house anyway. He did notice my eye roll and was offended. He asked what was wrong and said that I suddenly now, I'm sorry, he asked what's wrong, and I said that suddenly now that he's downsizing, I'm good enough to marry. He got mad and said that now that he's downsizing and no longer an executive, I suddenly think our relationship is disrespectful and started implying I was a gold digger. I was so angry, I walked out and said that I might just go out looking for a respectful relationship because I don't know what respect is anymore. Am I the a-hole? Okay, so I'm not going to get into the comment section because she actually did an update already. So let's get into it. She says, at the time of my original post, my boyfriend and I hadn't spoken since the engagement fight. I've been with him long enough to know that when he goes and closes the bedroom door before I get in, that's a signal that I should sleep in one of the guest rooms. So I did that. However, this morning I broke the ice. I told him how dismissed I felt over the years. I also said that we're both in our 50s, and this last few years have taught us that people at work who kiss the ground you walk on can easily turn on you the next. And true partners in life are valuable and hard to find. So I wish he'd treat me like I'm valued. Instead, he treats me like he thinks prettier, better, and just as loving is always around the corner. I apologized for the eye roll, but I told him that if he wants marriage, I want a quick, committed timeline and genuine happiness from him to be marrying me. I don't need a big party. He listened to me and finally asked if this was about the money or security. He told me that being an executive's girlfriend required things of me, but if I wanted to work, I could have. He said he doesn't think I'm grateful enough for the position in society I was in due to his career, but that he's not mad about the eye roll. He said that he didn't succeed by being that sensitive. Went on to say I was not his prisoner, so I could leave at any time, but to remember he won't tolerate being made my prisoner either via manipulation. He said that for what it's worth, the engagement ring is mine, and I could do whatever I wanted with it. He will also not be accused of not providing for his daughter, so be assured he won't shirk child support. But that he felt what I said before was emotional blackmail. So he no longer wants to go forward with marrying, but says if I'd like to travel with him, that's fine. Him traveling is non negotiable. So if I wanted to get a job, it would have to be a remote job. It was a sad conversation, and I spent a few hours alone after that. I felt I had nothing to lose, so I just asked if he would support me in getting an associate's, but that most associates for technical careers were in person. He then dropped the bombshell that if I wasn't traveling with him, he wasn't going to go those periods without without getting some. I was astounded by his callousness because he's back to take it or leave it. We fought again with me saying we're all feeling the effects of age. I've supported him through health issues, and if he thinks he can find somebody who has that loyalty I've shown him, he's wrong. At this point, I'm looking for ways out. I can't say I haven't been tempted to say I'll travel with him and try to get a remote job, but also realize how resentful I am that he continues to have the power in the relationship. I don't think I'll ever know my value truly, but something telling me there has to be better out there, at least in a partner. Y'all, there are so many instances where you could see the power dynamics and the manipulation and the way he turned everything she said against her, the reverse psychology of it all. It is astounding. What's also astounding is that this woman in her 50s has no retirement. She has no plan B because she has not been married and been with this man for 3 decades. And this is where, when people talk about that marriage is just a piece of paper, it's so fallacious. I mean, it's so false. It's just false. I don't understand it because now she has no safety net. Trying to get into the workforce in her 50s, but she has to start over. So she has to build a foundation first. And this is just a terrible position to be in. And I wish that women would stop this. If you're going to be a stay-at-home wife and a stay-at-home mom, you need to have that piece of paper that so many people so willy-nilly discard or discredit. And if that person is not giving you what you want, leave. It does not take 3 decades to see that you're being strung along. This woman says, you're an a-hole to yourself. I'm an old 65-year-old lady, and I've seen this scenario happen so many times, and it's never been a good thing for the woman involved. In fact, it has been an outright tragic disaster. Poverty is knocking at your door, and it wants in. You have screwed yourself over in so many ways, the biggest of which was not to work over the last 30 years. You have no investments, no Social Security, no 401k, no property. You made another huge mistake by not just grabbing that ring and immediately marrying your boyfriend, thereby cementing your ability to share in some of his investments, Social Security, etc. I don't care how unappreciated you felt. It was a moment in time, and now it's gone. A good lawyer may help depending on where you live, but it is in no way guaranteed. If you would have immediately married when he proposed and he lived at least 10 more years, you would have been able to get widow's benefits, but not now. Now you get nothing. Do you have any money of your own bank accounts or credit of any kind? At your age, it is a cruel world without any credit or money. You had better hope that one or more of your adult children will take you in, or you could find yourself homeless. This was a tough pill to swallow, but it was succinct and to the point. Stop doing this, women. Stop setting yourself up like this. You could end up homeless. Stop relying on them and their good graces. Jump in and let me know what you think of this one. I wanted to do a few more of the comments from that Am I the A-hole thread, where that woman was with her boyfriend for 30 years and just now getting a ring proposal, an engagement proposal. And this woman swooped in just like, you have screwed yourself. You screwed yourself majorly. You have no money. You have no plan B. You have nothing. You have not set yourself up. She came in with the 1-2 punch. And she came in with a wake-up call that I think that many of us need to see. I know that for some people, it is their dream to never work again, but we all retire. And for the most part, men die before women. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do if you have not set yourself up in retirement? What are you going to do? You're going to rely on the kindness of others, or are you going to create a game plan and have some reality in your life, some sense in your life, some sense of survival? What is going on with women these days, thinking that this soft life is just going to set you up, especially if you don't have any kind of legal fallbacks? Stop doing this to yourself. So this woman made some great points. So then this is what the OP says. I understand, and I am mostly numb to the harsh words from a large amount of the comments. I was hoping that if a part-time job would take me on, I'd be able to get myself an apartment and a reliable source of transportation so I could start afresh. If not, I want to look into a certificate program or nonprofits that help moms first get a certificate, then a job. I don't know what remote jobs are like, but if there's a remote part-time jobs that don't pay much but allow me to work from home so I can set up my new life, I'd love to do that. I know a cousin in her 30s who is a mom that works part-time but makes about $30 an hour. But I know she has an accounting degree. But her setup is great, and hopefully she can give me pointers because I know he networked her way into that job too. Okay, so this is the OP, and she is numb from all of the criticism. And I want to take some of that and just give to y'all. Like, this is the reason why we have got to plan for survival and stop relying on others. Because this woman hasn't worked in 30 years. She has no idea what the market looks like. She has no idea what wages look like. The scope, everything about working these days is completely different from even 5 years ago. The pandemic has changed everything, and not being able to keep abreast of what is going on in the economy and companies is a major hurdle for this woman to take on. And now she's feeling sad and sorry for herself. This person says, I'd love to be sympathetic, but honestly, you both sound toxic AF. For his part, the proposal out of nowhere that became an ultimatum is really shitty. This should have been a conversation that was built over the course of months, not something to spring on you. You too bear responsibility, though. You stayed in this relationship without a ring because it was the easy thing to do. You don't want to phrase it that way, but that's what it was. You subsumed your own desires because you felt it was simpler than the alternative. Candidly, your boyfriend isn't wrong. You may have stayed in part due to love, but it was also because you liked the money and the lifestyle, and you thought it would be harder without those things. You might have been right, honestly, but you've now spent 2 posts trying to justify your decision in any other way. You made this choice. Now you have to make another one. There's no reason you can't change your mind now and move on. Life may be harder on the short run, but at least you'll be pursuing your own happiness. Or you can keep settling if you want, but you shouldn't blame your boyfriend for your choices. And then the OP responds with, I hope he also stops blaming me for whenever life doesn't rain gold appreciation down on him. I hope that if he does try to find somebody else to have relations with, because he said that he will not abstain from it if I'm at home and he's traveling, that he doesn't blame me for when he does not find somebody who will care and love him as I have, when he goes looking for better and doesn't find it. And then the person says, are you kidding? You spend your life supporting an ungrateful but rich a-hole. You can't realistically imagine he'll grow up one day and be grateful and miss you for the wonderful person you are. He doesn't care. Don't make a fool of yourself. Just go. And then this person says, amen. He'll tell himself he's lucky to be free of your nagging and move completely on. This woman really thinks that this man is all of a sudden going to get a conscience and just be like, oh my God, I've been missing her. He, women, we have got to stop playing ourselves. One more comment from the OP. He implied he might break up with me and rethink this situation if I wasn't doing most of what executive girlfriends do, and that is take care of the home and the kids and also be on his arm at all social events, as well as host social events. His words exactly were, well, if your contributions can easily be replaced by a nanny and a maid, why wouldn't that be the preferable situation? And he does not have any friends left. That's part of the reason he wants to travel. They all slowly trickled out the door after his executive role started going south. Part of what I've learned from this is that he may say and even believe he loves me, but I no longer want to accept the worst form of selfish, inadequate love where I always have to fawn over how lucky I am to kiss his feet and still be expected to be grateful for that form of love. So she knows that he's inept at being a human. He doesn't create relationships. He doesn't build relationships. Um, yeah, but she still wants to be with him partially out of security because she hasn't secured herself. This is a terrible situation. Even if they did stay together, this is not a relationship that is healthy at all. And both of these people need some intense help. But now that you see some of her words, you can see a glimmer into who he is. But we already could see that based on the fact that he strung her along for 30 years, but that she allowed herself to be strung along. She bears responsibility in not securing her own life. Okay, now I'm ending this one. I say this all the time. A lot of times when women do these Am I the A-hole threads, they're simply looking for validation for feeling normal human emotions. This woman says, Am I the a-hole for telling my husband if he fights for custody of his kids, I will divorce him? Now, if you hear that title, at first you think, yes, she is the a-hole. But then you listen to the story. Okay, let's just listen. I am 27 and vehemently child free. I'm sterilized and have no intention of having or caring for any child. I married my husband, 33 male, last year, and did not know he had any children until 5 days ago. I travel for work for myself, and have amazing pay for very few active working hours. I am a honeymoon planner owning my own business. We have a joint account for bills and our own separate account for savings and fund money. My husband set me down 5 days ago and told me he hadn't been completely honest with me. Red flag, red flag. And he has and revealed he has two children, a 10-year-old boy and a 7-year-old girl. He pays regular child support. However, it dips into his fund money and he wants to be able to have fun like I am. So he said he would fight for 50-50 custody. There's a couple of red flags in that. I was furious. He had lied to me and was even more angry when he told me he wanted 50-50. He works 12 to 16-hour shifts as a nurse, and that would mean I would have to take care of the children when I'm not working or working from home. I told him if he fights for custody, I will leave him. We have a prenup, so a divorce would be rather simple. I get 100% of my business, all of my savings, and fund money, and the house as I inherited it from my grandmother. Okay, there is quite a bit in this, but there are so many reasons to divorce him already because this woman is child free, vehemently child free. That's what she says. She's sterilized. He's a liar, and he wants her, a woman that married him a year ago, to take on child care for him, all so he could have fun money. There's so much wrong with it. He called me an a-hole and told me I should step up so that he can have more money in his savings and for fun, and because the kids won't be much hassle due to their ages. So, am I the a-hole for telling him I will divorce him if he goes through filing for custody? So, lots of red flags. Okay, edit or update. Thank you all so much for helping me with this situation. I knew his lies were enough of a reason to divorce, and I'm proud to announce my soon to be ex husband. I just didn't know if divorcing him with kids in the mix would make me an a-hole, especially because he works so much. He has since vacated my house. I have spoken to my lawyer and I'm filing for an annulment. I can because he married me in an act of fraud. The AMA protects me as it was a fraudulent marriage. Thank you all once again. This is the game changer. Social media has been a game changer because when women speak about what is going on, they have other people that swoop in and give the real deal. Because, like I said, there were so many red flags, and marrying a liar just it is it erases everything. Is no, absolutely not. I am so thankful that we're able to have these conversations. Okay, so this woman says, "Wow, someone is the a-hole here, and it ain't you. His kids have never been around while you were dating and married. They didn't come to the wedding. Does he not see them? No judge will give him custody, but you will have a massive husband problem." She says they were never around. They did not come to our wedding. He has not seen them in 3 years. It's right there. Another statement that makes him unsuitable to be a husband to her. Just another red flag. I'm not going to belabor this point on this one because we can see that there were so many reasons to divorce this man. I just wanted to give this one so that we can see that women have got to stop doubting themselves. Have some intuition, have some common sense, and see these red flags and cut and run. Dealing with a liar that is lying at the onset is only going to set you up for failure years down the line. Absolutely not. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.